If the African continent was a classroom, what would the countries be?
If African continent was a classroom, Kenya would be a noise maker who is also clever in class.
How?
For example, if you look at Kenya, they are always attacking everyone left, right, and center. If Nigerians do this, they are shouting at Nigerians. If Ugandans do this, they are there attacking Ugandans. If Tanzanians do this, they are there on the case of Tanzanians. But again, when you look at Kenya, they are doing well economically, they are doing well politically, and other spheres of life. And therefore, this qualifies Kenya to be a noise maker in this classroom of Africa, the person who is also clever.
Yes. What about Nigeria?
If Africa was a classroom, Nigeria could be a big-bodied bully in a class.
How?
Because Nigerians always believe that they deserve everything than any other African country. They are good in music, they are good in football, they are good in film, they want to be good in everything. And they believe that anything that comes into Africa, it is first to be taken by Nigerians before other African countries. They believe that they are greater than any other African country, and any opportunity that comes to Africa, Nigerians should grab it first before other African countries. And this qualifies Nigerians as the big bully in this African classroom.
Yeah. Yes. What about South Africa?
If Africa was a classroom, South Africa could be this rich kid.
Yes. How?
Because South Africa is this kind of a kid who inherited all good things from the parents. Because South Africa is this place which has good roads, good houses, good everything. Everything about South Africa is good.
Yes.
South Africa is like this kid who is brought to school with an expensive Mercedes Benz. And whether he fails exams or not, his future is secured. And therefore this qualifies South Africa as a rich kid in this classroom of Africa.
Yes. What about Uganda?
If Africa was a classroom, Uganda could be a class monitor.
Yes. How?
Because Uganda is this country which keeps monitoring what is happening around Africa. If they create a problem with Kenya, they say, Kenya, we shall report you to Nigeria. If they get a problem with Nigeria, they say, Nigeria, we shall report you to Kenya.
Yes.
If they get a problem with Rwanda, they say, Rwanda, you are not better than South Africa. So, Uganda is this country which keeps monitoring what is happening around Africa. And therefore, this qualifies Uganda as the class monitor in this classroom of Africa.
Yes. What about Tanzania?
If Africa was a classroom, Tanzania would be this student who is quiet in class, but others don't understand what this person is up to.
Yes.
Is this kind of person who is quiet but not stupid in class? Is this person who is quiet but not poor in class? Even if other students try to mock him around the class, he is still quiet, but you cannot do anything.
Yes.
So this qualifies Tanzania as that student who is always quiet, but you cannot understand him in class, in the African class.
Yes. Talk about Rwanda.
If Africa was a classroom, Rwanda could be this clean student in class who sits in front.
Yes. How?
You look at his shoes is well polished. You look at his clothes is well ironed. Everything about him is organized and is ready to answer any question that the teacher may ask. That is the same way you will see Rwanda is the cleanest country and organized.
Yes.
And therefore this qualifies Rwanda as the cleanest student in this African class.
Yes. What about Ghana?
If Africa was a classroom, Ghana would be a bookworm.
Yes.
How? Ghana would be this student whereby when others are making noise, for him is reading the book. When others have gone for lunch, for him is reading the books. When others are making fun of him, for him is reading the book. But when he comes out with the result, it will shake the whole class.
Yes.
That is why Ghana has very many result-oriented, innovative people. And when they come up with something, it shakes the whole of Africa.
Yes.
And therefore, this qualifies Ghana as the bookworm in this classroom of Africa.
Yes. What about South Sudan?
If Africa was a classroom, South Sudan will be this student who is mistaken to be in upper class from where other current ones are.
Yes.
Because of their height, they are mistakenly understood to be 3 classes above from where they are. But in actual sense, you find that they are just tall and young and they are supposed to be actually behind. Same way right now you find that South Sudan is supposed to be one of the most developed countries in Africa. But because they just got independence just recently, they are where they are. And therefore this qualifies South Sudan as the student who is mistakenly understood to be in classes ahead than the current ones in an African class.
And who are the backbenchers?
In an African class, Backbenchers are people like Burundi, Madagascar, Mozambique, Gabon. They are in class, but you cannot understand whether they are there. They sit behind, you can't understand whether they are understanding or not. You cannot understand whether they will pass or they will not pass. They are just there because they are in class, and those are just backbenchers, plus others, many in Africa.
And for you, where do you come from?
You go and ask your father.
This man!